everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video...
Well, Phil, we are looking at livestock in Longford. And today is a great day because livestock have returned to Longford Farms and we've got all of the animals in place and functioning, which is great. So we're starting down at our sheepyard. This is a little bit further away from the main yard as the canal boats go up the canal. We have sheep for a starting point. Now, this is the placeable sheep farm, which is, the map doesn't really work, but it's southwest of the main yard. And we're going to take a bit of a drive around and show you where everything is. But there's your sheep shed. You got your sheep pasture there. It produces wool. You can also put goats into here as well. And a few other storage sheds around there as well. Small little things. It's a small yard. It's supposed to be a small yard, but it's set up that way too. And like I said, sheep are going to be in there. There's a few small little things I want to change and tweak, but for the most part they're in and they are functioning, which is great, including the goats, so you can bring those in. But we're going to continue on our way. I'm going to jump on into our little Kubota here, and then let's go for a bit of a drive. Now, like I say, we're still working hard on this to get it upgraded and brought into FS25. So there'll be things that you see that don't quite look right, and that's because they haven't been adjusted yet. But we're getting there. We're certainly a lot further along than when we were in last week's video. We're going to pop up and see that the hens are in place. Then we've got a couple of cattle pastures to look into before we get back to the main yard as well, where we'll continue to have a look. But yeah, we've got some boats are in there, splines need to be played with on that one. Pedestrian splines are in, as you can see. Traffic's in over the head there as well, which is good. And then yeah, we've also got, like I say, all livestock are in, so we've got some a little homestead up here which has some chickens in, which is always nice to see. So if you want to, it could be different starting points as well. You could buy this land and work from there. But there's a little homestead here where you'll have all your chickens. There were other decisions that I made that we've decided against for practical reasons, but I'll get into that when we get there. Ignore the terrain around the side here. All the grasswork has been adjusted, but because this is a save game, it will not reflect through there. But there you'll see you'll have your chickens. So your free-range hens are in, and they are looking pretty handy in the little free-range house there. So that's all nice and easy to collect, easy to feed. It gives you just a different option. But yeah, I thought it'd be a nice place to put that. And then you could also use that if you want to do like a survival role play thing. You can start from there and get going. Now what we're going to do is first off have a look at the pasture that we have in place, and then we'll go back up to the main yard and have a look at all of the actual cattle sheds, for want of a better phrase. But first things first. There you have, we come back over the canal, over the bridge there. The boats are just creeping through the canal. And we're not going to try our best not to get run over, because that is important. And we're going to take this little turn down here. Because we have a field, cattle, an actual pasture, an actual cattle field here. Which is pretty nice to have. So a little bit different there, so you can rotate your cattle around, bring them inside or outside during the winter, summer months. Whatever you prefer to do, bring the calves out here to get a little bit of different coverage, a little bit of different feed. And there you go. Nice big long field. Jump over there. Plenty of grass in there. This is quite a large field. I think you can get about 80 cattle into here if you really want. You can feed them with bales of hay in there as well. And then they are good to go. But yeah, huge field, nice big pasture. But I think it's important to be able to have this feature where you can come on in and move your cattle around in the summer months and bring them outside to pasture and leave them out here, and then vice versa, bring them in for the winter. And I think it's just a good rotational option. You can still buffer feed them as well, of course. With the new pasture systems there, it's not fully dialed in yet, but I'm toying with the idea of leaving that and just having it on the bales as well. You got your water trough just tucked in on the side here too. But yeah, it's pretty nice to have, and that gives you everything you need to know about the health, the food, the straw, and it will produce slurry, but there won't be any slurry trigger points because, well, we're outside in the grass, pretty much. So, but that's nice and straightforward, nice and easy, simple cattle pasture, something to add a little bit of a different feature towards your farming. Next up, we're going to go and shoot along to a satellite yard. Not that cold, you don't need your jackets up. And we're going to come on down to our right again. You can as well, these fields right here are all going to be grass fields, so we'll have a quick look at that as well. You can take this path to the right as we look at it downhill there, and then you've got these three fields here which are all pretty much ready, and there is an actual bridge that you can get through the tree line here, over the ditch, and you can cut across into the fields that will lead you eventually back on up to the yard as well. So you'll see that we've taken over some of the land that was grey has now been redefined, and it's starting to come into life a little bit more, so that's good. But what we're going to do right now is again focus on not crashing the car, and we're going to go down to our right. Now this is heading towards where the new ground would be. Unfortunately, due to the size of the limitations here, we can't get all of the new ground actually in the game, so that's something that we will have to focus on another time. And again, ignore the terrain missing, the foliage missing on the side, that has been adjusted. There is just a little shed, a little house really, there's nothing else, nothing happening there, it's just a decorative house. But coming all the way down to the bottom here is where we will have a little bit more involvement. As you can hear them going already, and there they are, another little placeable shed. Now this shed is, again, I think this is about another, most of the sheds will be a maximum of about 50 cows, except for one which is a little bit bigger. But again, another nice area to store. Gates are all coming in. I don't have them working with the animations at the moment, which is why they're not here in the most part. Some buildings still have them, but gates will be added on there as well. And that won't be a problem. But yeah, another nice little satellite yard here where you can set up. There's a bit of a storage space or a bit of area that you can add another shed in here as well. You can really build this out, fell these trees down. And what I like about this yard is exactly that. You can come on in, there's plenty of space here, get a chainsaw out and get working away, and you'll be able to go right away up to this back hedge line here should you wish to. So that would give you all the space in the world to add another couple of sheds in there maybe and make this your main yard, and then you'll be all set to go. And you've still got a relatively good sized yard there actually, so that would be nice. A nice little option place to start from. And I do believe if you have dairy cows, they believe you're going to be able to milk them from there as well, collect the milk, and that's where your storage trigger will also be. But yeah, so that's the last of the external yards. So now we need to go and head over to the main event and have a look at the main yard and see what's going on over there. So the last week or so has been really spent doing a lot of the landscaping work, getting all of the main yard sorted out with textures for the most part, get the buildings in place, and do a lot of work with getting the animals transferred across so they function, which has been really good to do. It's a big step. A lot of the work that's left to do really in general is landscaping work, and then also bringing in buildings. I have another 12 or 13 buildings that are ready to be transferred over, and then they could be decorative houses. It's the animal dealership as well that needs to come across, so the auction mart that needs to come on in, decorative houses, barns, that kind of thing, and that will all come into place. But yeah, so we have a farmyard now. We have Mother Phil's house. We have a very slow school bus, so we'll have to just creep past this one. There you go. And we are going to go around this way and have a start over here, and then we'll work our way back on over to the main yard there and have a peek. I need to build a castle, apparently. For the castle field, I need to get that all sorted out. But first and foremost, we're in the area that everybody really recognises and knows. Of course, this is what I refer to as the workshop. Now, so we've got your farmhouse there. We've got our couple of sheds. Obviously, the apartment up here, which is half finished. It's very fair to say. I need some finishing that I need to bring across from from FS22, because at the moment there I just haven't got the textures right, so that will all get changed eventually. But yeah, we need the trigger on here, but this will be your just machinery shed, combine shed if you like. So you've got plenty of space in there to store everything that you will need. And then finally, jump over here, you got your workshop as well, which is pretty cool. Again, need to transport over all of the different shelving units so we can actually fill that mezzanine with all of the different bits and pieces, because that will be something we can do and put some textures onto and resistance onto the mezzanine floor itself. But yeah, there you go. So that's that will all be coming together, and then you'll be able to build things inside the workshop once more. But what we're going to do is have a walk around the corner here. There is the old farm shop is here. That is probably just going to turn that into some kind of store, because obviously, as we well know, going to be a gate there. There is a new farm shop in the process, and next week I'm hoping we'll be able to show you a little bit more of what that looks like. I've built it; it's ready to go. I've had a sneaky look at some of the plans so I can see what it's intended to look like. So I've built it to reflect that. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to get it in and see. So with that being said, there is now a farm shop entrance. There is a bit of a pasture there, and then there's going to be a car park down the bottom and everything, and then that will all look very good. This is the regular route in, and the wildflower bank that was built not too long ago. Hopefully, with the good weather, it'll look like that next summer. But farmhouse hasn't been touched yet. It's been retextured. There's work still to do with that one because we know that there's going to be changes to the farmhouse. So I'm going to wait and see a little bit and hold off on doing anything too heavy with that. And of course, in here you got your car parks there, and then there'll be the machinery kind of store pad or storage yard at the back, and then there'll be some kind of farm shop going in. So we'll figure that one out over the course of the next week or so. Around the corner into the main yard. Now, a couple of other things to point out as well. We're going to get to everything over there. The meal shed is as it was before they started to do any work to it. Now, I'm in two minds. I might change it and make it look a bit more to real life, to reflect what's going on at the moment. And that would be as simple as putting concrete barriers in between here and the back wall, just so it can actually be utilized a little bit more and replicate the real life version. Or I might just hang on and wait until everything's finished with the grain shed on the back here. Because the grain shed probably comes out to about here or so, I'd say, in real life. So we want to reflect that. So we might just sit tight, release the first version with it like this, and then an update, we might change it. Or I'm also looking into seeing how realistic it is to add like a script in there where you can buy the new update and it will change it all. I'm not sure how that would work yet, but it might be something that we do look into. But yeah, so you got your meal shed there. The long shed behind us here as well. That is another thing that, whilst it was changed and converted to have pigs into here, it also has chickens and fowl just over here as well. I thought about doing that. I wanted to put the pigs into here, but the reality would be the navigation mesh here would probably be too small for pigs to actually work. So I just didn't. I haven't done it yet. I might still do it. I'm not sure. But yeah, it would be a bonus. Otherwise, it's full of a bit of clutter here and there, and just bits of machinery, gates, and things like that. You've obviously got your cattle management system on the side there with the lights on as well. And that's more decorative than anything else because we have so many other animal triggers. We've just left that as it is. And speaking of animal triggers, let's go and have a look. So the old hay shed over here lost its roof in the storm the other day. Ours still has a roof and it has calves inside of it as well. So again, you have another option here to come in. We've got 50 calves in here, and you can buy and sell and add in as many as you like into there. Which is great. You've also got coming around the corner here again, more storage, more shed without the bit of roofing on the end. This is what I kind of call new shed. I don't know what the terminology that Farmer Phil uses, but you have one cattle pen here. Now this is the anomaly. This is at 150, but that will be 50 cattle. I'll get that one changed down. But you've got 50 there. You've got 50 here, and this 50 is split between here and over here. Because otherwise it was too tight to work with feed triggers and things. So one feed trigger does both sides there now, and that works out very nicely. You've got your slatted shed, the old wooden barn, and again, these gates don't work. What happened probably about last year or so was that I think it was Lee actually put a bit of work in fixing up this barn, fixing a few of the gaps in the timber, which is why these bits were left empty, because there was some like slatted pieces on here that could be added on. So I will probably look at I'm curious with the construction scripts for FS25. I might look into seeing how that works and see if you can find a way to make that work for this, whereby you add some planks in from the production and it will fix the barn. That might be something that would be really cool to do. But you've got calves here, and you've got calves over here as well. And we're going to come and feed these all up in just a moment. And then finally, all the way down to the bottom here, you got more calves. You got the last big shed, and this has a few. I think it's got another. This might have 80 in here because it's a little bit larger. Yeah, 80 in here. Yeah, so like another big large shed. So what we're going to do to round out today, we are going to go and feed everything up. This will be your silage pit in the corner here. And then these two, I might make this slightly larger one into a silage pit with a trigger on, or like with a trigger and collisions. And this one here will just be like a storage area thing. Just because it's a bit too tricky to make it work otherwise. So what we'll start with is jump on into the JCB. Very few Massies available in game at the moment, unfortunately, so couldn't even get the 3690 that we had on FS22 in. So we could ideally do with a few more older Massey mods to come out so we can make this look a little bit more reflective of real life. Okay, we'll get this one in. We're just going to feed them silage for today. Otherwise, we've been doing a little bit of landscape work around the battlefield as well. You'll see some of the fields are starting to creep out. We'll get a little bit more of the hedgerows in. We've got this field behind us is done. So we can start to kind of piece everything together, really. So it's starting to look a little bit more realistic, a little bit more true to life. There's still plenty of work to do, don't get me wrong. But it is definitely coming together. And I feel like once the animals are in, next thing I'll be looking to do is sell points. So farm shop, grain sell points, BGA sell points. Make sure they're all working properly because there's a few different... we're currently still pointing towards the old FS22 scripts, whereas there's a few changes I want to make sure I reflect with the FS25. So we'll make sure that all works, and then once they're in, after that, really, it's all just decorative. Making sure everything looks good from a standpoint, of the aesthetic standpoint, but then, you know, field boundaries, make sure the terrain's set up right. A few things I'm getting my head around still with the changes to FS25, so we'll get all that working properly. Now we have, there is a good way to tackle all of this, and we're going to start by, do you know what, we're going to go and start over here. I'll have to watch some more of Phil's videos and see which sheds they always start with. Obviously, I'm sure different mixes, different rations for different sheds. However, we're going to creep our way through here. This is going to be a bit tight. I don't think you get through here, actually, but we will. And there we go. We can feed everything up there. Trigger's going to come into play very soon. Lovely stuff. We'll give them a bit there. Stop that. And then what we'll do actually is we'll go down the passageway in the middle. Now you should probably actually come up the other side because that's where the trigger will ultimately be, is on the left as we look at it, but it still does the same job going up that way. Then you can stop there, come around the corner this way. And at this point you've got a few options, but we're going to zip up this side here first. Feed into the slats there as well. It looks rather good. We're empty, so nice and easy to fill that one up. And then at this point in time we're just going to zip straight up back into the corner, come down the alleyway in the middle. Now at the moment there is like the paddock there that leads up to the house. The cattle don't have a navigation mesh to go into there, and I'm tempted to stick it in there so that they do. I think that would be quite good to have cattle grazing around there. It'll be a nice thing to see. And that field really is not going to be given any field IDs or anything like that. So it might be a good thing to do just so we can have the option, you know. But it's something that I'm going to play around with and have a think and see how we get on with it at least. As you can see as well, you could definitely get a larger feeder wagon around most of this now. Wouldn't be too much of an issue there at all. Just need to get myself a little bit further out here to get that trigger. And then once we've done that one, we're just going to sling it around the corner here, straight down through this last shed, or penultimate shed actually, I think it is. Now, like I say, you fill up on both sides here. This is all one husbandry. I did have it whereas the shed on the right here was actually separate to the shed on the left, but that was just proven to be a little bit too tight in here. As you can see, it's a very tight yard. I need to figure out why the plane won't fill up on the other side there, but crucially everything is receiving some silage in there, which is good. And then you're able to swing it out. There's your muck midden as well that you can fill up. You've got an old little shed there. For the slurry, each shed will have its own slurry point, but the big long shed we're about to go into now, its slurry point is going to be on the corner of this slurry lagoon here, so at least that you can use it and it acts like an actual lagoon. And then the last shed, I'm just going to zip on through. All of the sheds do receive straw as well. This is probably the only shed which is a little bit lower, so you have to be cautious of your feeders. But yeah, there you go. That would be your feeding routine at the main yard here. So it's coming together. It's looking like it's starting to take place. I'm happy with how it's developed, how the livestock are looking as well. There's a lot of the changes that are happening and occurring as we get through here, and you know, the next couple of weeks will be big in terms of transferring everything across, getting all the sell points in, and making sure once you have all the game mechanics in place and that they're all working properly, then it should be nice and easy just to finish everything else off in terms of field design, landscapes, and all the rest of the good stuff. But yeah. So there you have it. There are the livestock that we need to have in game. They're all in and they're all functioning. So big strides have been taken since the last video. We'll try and bring you another one this time next week as well to show you all the rest of the updates we've managed to get in across the course of the week. So I hope you have enjoyed this. This has been the latest episode. I have been... Stay tuned for more as well. We'll try and get some more posts out on Instagram as well with little updates here and there as we get going through it, as we continue to spread further up the hill there. There's a lot going to be happening up there that we'll need to get to, so that'll be very exciting indeed. And of course, the journey that we take with the farm shop too. So stay tuned for that one. If you have enjoyed this and you like what you see and you want to keep up to date, do consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more. Leave any comments or questions or feedback down below. Until next time though, I have been Simulation for the Nation. Thank you very much for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next one.